One of our fellows, Robert Flournoy, is working directly with the U.S. Marine Corps.
We were talking about.
That I don't. Robert's coordinating it all, so I don't know. Next time he's in the building, which will probably be Wednesday, I'll certainly ask him. I didn't see him today, but he usually goes around and checks. Okay.
Oh, Harvey Grill is very good as well.
Yeah. Don't try to sell their own. I'll bring the cork. It was like an 95. It was the smoothest wine I ever had in my life. Well, it's Bill telling me it was a 95. So, 92.
Be interested in seeing it.
Oh, he's editing. Marcia.
Good, thanks. How are you?
Where?
Oh, I see. Your hands are full.
She's retiring?
Yeah.
I didn't see. Oh, I guess I didn't look at academic.
A little sloggy. How are you doing, Bob?
Yep.
That's really not fair.
You mean it should be us? I know. I still have a freshman in college. I still got to work.
Yeah,
with
no
him.
kidding. Tell me about it. My daughter should graduate
Oh, really?
June.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah, my older son, he's actually graduating a semester early. He's graduating in December. The one that got the scholarship a couple years ago.
Right.
He's a police officer already.
That's great.
Yeah, so he's actually going to graduate in December. He's taking his last 4 classes online. Yeah, I was just happy. Very
That's
happy.
wonderful.
And
Yeah.
he was excited about it.
Oh, I bet. Bad times.
Yeah, well, he was fortunate. His first choice, police department in Gladstone, Missouri. He went and applied. He had a pretty strong background. So he was
Yeah. I was pretty impressed.
Well, I told him, for a kid that's 22 years old, have that kind of a background and a degree in criminal justice
Yeah.
is pretty.
He's going to go far.
Well, we'll see. He really likes it. He said the other day, he said, Dad, I got to tell you, it's so exciting to actually get paid for something that you love to do. That's great.
He's probably done a lot of volunteering, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, when he was police explorer, they volunteered a lot. He wound up with 2,500 hours total.
Really?
Community service hours. Yeah, he got a President's Service Award, a $1,000 scholarship.
Wow.
For that. Yeah. They have some pretty decent scholarships for students that do community service.
Yeah.
That you can apply for. So.
Well, and he should get pretty good benefits, I think. Is he hoping to eventually come back to Southern California?
He really wanted to come back here.
Well, it's just as well, I guess, to get experience back
Well, that's
there.
what he figures is, he'll get his experience there and then transfer here if he can at some point in time. But I don't,
will.
honestly, I don't know how long it will.
Check 1, 2.
I know it's depressing.
Maybe we should.
Maybe that's something to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oops. All right, we will call the meeting to order, and at this time, our clerk will read the actions taken in closed session.
There were 2 actions taken in closed session. On a 6-0 vote with Trustee Tom Fuentes absent, the board approved a 2-day suspension of a police officer and authorized the board president to sign on the board's behalf a resolution formalizing the board's actions. And then our item number 2, On a 6-0 vote with Trustee Tom Fuentes' absence, the board approved a 2-day suspension of a classified employee and authorized the board president to sign on the board's behalf a resolution formalizing the board's action. And those are all the
Thank you. Thank you. All right, if you'd all please rise and join in the invocation, which will be led by Trustee Mike Meldau. Remain standing for the pledge.
Please join me in a moment of silence for the victims of the earthquake in Turkey. Thank you.
All right, if you'd all please face the flag and join with me in saluting the flag of this great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have some resolutions tonight, or?
No.
No, okay, we will move then to public comments, and I'm going to ask Bob Cosgrove to be the first commenter as he makes his way to the podium. And are you addressing an agenda item, Mr. Cosgrove?
Addressing the issue of replacement faculty and new faculty hires.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Bob Cosgrove, Saddleback College. Tonight you will hear about the many certificate and degree programs that are offered at Saddleback and, of course, in the district. And this is one critical reason why replacements and new faculty are urgently needed. When I came to Saddleback from Texas Tech University in 1981, about 77% of the faculty were full-time. And that was at a time when the college was much smaller and far less complex. That number has eroded to just above 50%. We are feeling the loss of many talented, experienced teachers who were generously offered a retirement incentive this last year. That loss is not just in the classroom, labs, counseling center, and library, but a number of committees faculty must serve on at the college and at our district services unit. Some of those full-time faculty have come back as part-time, but they are not serving on committees, on accreditation, on developing and upgrading SLOs, learning how to employ TrackDat, program review, curriculum, distance education, certificate review, and gobs of other mandated duties faculty alone must perform. Next month, you will receive a report on student success. Where does student success primarily occur? In classes, labs, library, learning resources center, reading lab, international language lab, computer labs, math labs, chemistry labs, biology labs, and the list goes on. But that is where students gain the skills and the research tools necessary for work and for transfer. We can't sell them short. In my own department of reading and English, 80% of our basic skills courses, English 220, English 200, and English 300, and our transfer writing courses, English 1A and 1B, are taught by part-time faculty who are not paid or required to hold office hours or advise students or serve on committees or to help develop programs. And we need replacements and new faculty for developing ATEP, something this district has wrestled with for years. Saddleback will be suggesting some new programs for that site. Classified positions are also important to us, as well as administrative support. We need to have a full complement across the college and the district. These classified staff support student success by supporting faculty in division offices, in admissions and records, the whole array of student services departments to help veterans, students with disabilities, students in need of guidance, and again, the list goes on. And now is the time to hire exceptionally talented faculty. Many on the market are or were teachers at universities who are considering community college work. They would not have done that before the recession hit. They're among the best and brightest.
If you could try to wrap it up.
Yeah,
you're well
one more
beyond your
paragraph.
time. Thank you.
We need to look down the road 10 to 15 years as these faculty lead the state in the quality, variety, and uniqueness that Saddleback and this district can offer.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments on that, and it's a challenge. All right, we have two requests here from one person, Stephanie Schofield. If you could come forward, and we're going to ask our Chancellor to join with you in a presentation to our police chief from IVC. You just wait one moment till the Chancellor gets there. Thank you. And Chief Glenn, if you could join. And Stephanie, if you could just introduce yourself for the audience, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time this evening. I'm Stephanie Schofield. I represent the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training. The acronym we're commonly known by in California law enforcement is POST. And when an agency decides to commit themselves and become part of the POST program, they say to their community and their governing board that we are going to set the highest standards for hiring and training of our law enforcement personnel. The Irvine Valley College Police Department has not only committed their peace officers to their POST program, but their public safety dispatchers to the POST program. So tonight, on behalf of the Commission, I would like to present Chief Glenn of the Irvine Valley Community College Police Department with two plaques. The first denoting their peace officers' participation in the POST program, and the second denotes their public safety dispatchers' participation in the POST program.
Congratulations. And if we could just ask that you would join together in a small group so our public information person can get a picture, that would be great. You might need help holding all that. Yeah, be sure they're not upside down. All right, very good. And you're going to speak some more.
The Commission on Post issues a series of professional certificates to sworn law enforcement officers in California, ranging from the basic level certificate all the way up to the executive level certificate. These certificates are based on time on the job, in particular ranks, your education, and your training points in law enforcement in California. The highest certificate that POST awards is the executive level certificate. This is issued to active law enforcement department heads here in California. Not every active law enforcement department head has an executive level certificate. It is very difficult to obtain. Tonight, on behalf of the Commission, I would like to issue Chief Glenn of the Irvine Valley Community College Police Department POST's highest certificate, the executive level certificate.
Wonderful. Is that it? What a haul. What a haul. All right. And would you like to speak, Chief Glenn? I mean, you might want to make a comment, like a thank you would be nice.
Thank you. I know there was a limited time, so I didn't think that I really had time to say much.
Sure.
It's been a long road, so to speak. I've been in law enforcement for 40 years, effective this past August, and it's been a ride from municipal policing to state policing and community college policing now. Probably some of the most fulfilling is that which I'm doing now, working with the students. And I see a lot of years in front of me working here in this district and trying to better my department. And I want to also thank those that have made this all possible, and that's the men and women that work for the department. And we've been fortunate that we've been able to hire some really highly qualified people.
And
Thank
you have
very
some
much.
people here from your department. Would you want to introduce them, please?
Oh, yes. This is Lieutenant Richard Grosskost, Operations Lieutenant. And this is Dispatcher Sandy Theriault.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We will now move to board reports, and we'll start with Trustee Jay.
Yes. I got this thing on.
Yes, you do.
There we go. Bob Cosgrove just mentioned it when he was talking about the responsibilities of faculty and other staff members involved in accreditation reports. And as the accreditation reports come in, the board receives copies of the preliminary drafts and the ongoing drafts and finally the completed work. And I'd just like to compliment everybody, both on the faculty, the classified staff, the administration, who work on accreditation. It's long, writing is long, hard, lonely work. Having done some of it myself, I realize that, and I just want to express my appreciation on the accreditation materials that I've seen so far this time. Outstanding, quality work with a lot of hard effort put in, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Trustee Meldau?
Yes, I'd just like to say that I had a good opportunity to meet with President Rockmore at Irvine Valley College and take a tour there. We had a great time. I saw a lot of the programs and the labs that were going on at the school. We viewed the new construction, which was really exciting. We had a chance to talk to some of the veteran students, which was really nice to be able to do that. So it was just a wonderful time, and I thank everybody for the hospitality that they showed while I was there. Also, this weekend, I attended the Saddleback football game, and that was quite a game. We did quite well, so let's just keep it up there, okay, President Burnett? And the other thing I would like to mention that I'm sure you're going to mention is that President Burnett has done a great job at getting a town hall meeting on student success here at Saddleback College. And it's quite a coup for us and quite a feather in our cap. And I certainly will be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at that town hall meeting.
The date on that, and it's statewide, I believe.
It's Tuesday. Yeah.
November 8th, Tuesday, 4 to 6, and it's a statewide town hall? Orange County. Okay, great. Thank you. Trustee Milchiker.
Yeah, I echo what my trustees have said, my fellow trustees have said, and I won't repeat it because we have a short amount of time. I only have 2 minutes apiece. So, but I do want to congratulate Chief Glenn for we really do have fabulous employees. Our police department is the tops, and our police officers are able to carry guns and work with our students and really student friendly. So that's just one part. We have wonderful faculty, wonderful police officers, wonderful classified, and as Professor Cosgrove said, we really want to hire the best and the brightest, and we have an opportunity to do that right now because people are out of work, and we're the only district hiring in Orange County, and we're here to make sure that we have the best community college district that we can, and we'll do whatever it takes to make it the best. I also think it's wonderful that Trustee Meldau, who's our newest trustee, has met with both presidents and has taken a tour of both colleges. I think that's really the best way to know the colleges. We come to the board meetings, we hear the budget, but you don't really get to know the colleges unless you go to visit them. And I want to thank actually the Chancellor for bringing forward our discussion item tonight, which is to discuss student success and how we prove that our students do succeed at the colleges. I think it's real important for trustees to know this information, and all the trustees agreed that we want to have more information on this at our board meetings, so he's following our lead. In this along with this, one of the geography professors invited me for the second time in a row. She's having a cultural geography class, a poster session like they do in universities, and this is in graduate schools, on the geography of death. And it's really fascinating. I went last year, and this is going to be on Tuesday, November 29th. And I also send out, ask all our employees, if there's something really fabulous that you're doing in your classroom or that you'd like me to share and talk about at the board meeting, I'd really be happy to come and enjoy it and talk about it at the board meeting.
Wrap it up, please, Trustee.
Yeah, and let everyone know the great things that are happening in our district. Thanks.
Thank you. Trustee Prendergast.
Yeah, I just kind of follow along all of that and agree with everything that's been said. I did get a chance to attend the IVC Foundation fundraiser golf tournament on last week, and it was an interesting event. Trustee Padberg was there as well, and walked away with a nice day at the beach package that managed not to get outbid on. Then I also am planning on attending the college-wide forums that are coming up November 2nd. So I will look forward to being out there and available for people to ask us questions. And
How about the lunch, the dinner?
the dinner at the foundation fundraiser was nice. Yeah.
Didn't you go to the school board dinner?
Yeah, but I didn't know I reported that here.
Sure, report that
well, I
here.
guess. Yeah, that's right, because that's one of my functions that you assigned me to that I wouldn't have to do anything. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got to go to the Orange County School Board Association, ask to dinner and vote for people I don't know. To be on some board, I don't know what it is, and
We're trying to educate him.
So, yeah, look forward to not doing any more with that. Thank you.
It's a challenge, but I know that we're all up to the challenge. All right, and I'll keep my report short. I, of course, as Trustee Prendergast just reported, went to the IVC Golf Foundation dinner, and luckily I won a raffle prize. He got a silent auction prize, but we did quite well, both of us, and it was a lovely event. And then I had went to the IVC Saddleback girls soccer game, which was exciting, as well as another girls soccer game, and also to the football games. Sat with our president and Trustee Meldau at that in the middle of the fog. And we did very well in spite of it all. So essentially that is my report. I'll move on to Trustee Lane.
Thank you. I also want to echo Trustee Jay's comments regarding all of the folks from all the constituent groups that worked on accreditation. Really a terrific job. Also pleased that we honored Chief Glenn tonight. Very well deserved. I think as has been said before, we certainly have great employees in this group. Police departments at both campuses are certainly right up there with the best. And along those lines, I also wanted to acknowledge the fact that one of the items in our personnel items that we're going to cover tonight is the retirement of Harry Palmer. And I just wanted to thank Harry in absentia for all the great work that he's done for this institution over the years. He's been a tremendous asset for us and certainly deserves recognition for all of his efforts over the years. Not to diminish the efforts of you, Officer Pyle, you do a great job as well, protecting us from the public, so I appreciate that. And that's my report tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Student trustee?
Thank you. Yes. First of all, I'd like to recognize IVC's and Saddleback's student government. They've been very active this month, and Halloween is coming up, so I'm pretty sure they have something planned for that event. Secondly, I attended a Birmingham civil rights meeting. It was actually in this room. Professor Robert Houston from Arizona was there to give his feedback, and it was an amazing event. I learned a lot from it, and there were about 100 students in the room. And thirdly, just a little side note, just to keep you posted up on my chess club. This is very interesting. I was walking around campus and I noticed a flyer saying, "We need chess instructors." And I managed to get a hold of the wonderful organization, and the club is actually going to be teaching a after-school program for elementary students, teaching them how to play chess, and they're actually going to pay some of the instructors, so I managed to get a couple students some jobs, so I'm pretty stoked about that, and that's my report.
Great, great, great. Before I turn it to the Chancellor, I just neglected to mention one thing. IVC's ladies golf team is close to being number one. in the state. So they're in the finals. And we did neglect to mention, maybe President Burnett will mention, that the football team for Saddleback is 4th in the nation. And I believe number 1 in our division, at least right now. So we're not, it's Southern California. It's not over till it's over, but we're in very good shape. So, okay, Chancellor.
In case some of you didn't notice when you walked in the door, we now have a permanent installation of the bust of Ronald Reagan that was donated to us by Trustee Fuentes, and it's in a very appropriate spot right outside of the entrance to this room. Another matter is it's been mentioned that the board tonight is hearing a report from mostly faculty about educational quality. Next month, we're going to be talking about student success. And just accidentally, because these presentations have been planned for some time, we do have the state task force coming to our campus at Saddleback to present their findings and receive feedback. And I would encourage faculty to attend that meeting. They may have something they'd like to contribute. The other thing is to thank the faculty for all the work that they've done on the accreditation work. It's been long and tedious. We have 2 people in the room that have worked very hard, and many of them that worked not quite as hard. And they're involved in the presentation tonight. And so the faculty here are doing a lot of hard, good quality work. I'd like to recognize them for that.
Great, thank you. And at this point, I'll ask if there are any board requests for reports. Seeing none, we will move to our discussion item. I'll let the Chancellor introduce that.
Yes, this past spring, when the board met in its self-evaluation, it set as a goal that it needed to become better informed so that they could, about educational quality, so they could live up to the mandate that they're primarily responsible for educational quality in the district. And so if you can see them lining up back here, we have quite a few people that are ready to talk to you about this. You are primarily responsible, you, the members of the board, for the educational quality of the district, but the people that you have to rely on primarily to carry out that mission is the faculty of the district. And you're going to hear about the activities that they're involved in, and be sure to ask them questions. And at our next meeting, we'll be talking more about student success.
Okay. Yeah. If you could just introduce yourself and
Thank you. I'm Don Boucher, the Acting Vice President for Instruction at Saddleback College, and it's my pleasure to start off the group here. Each of us will introduce ourselves if we come up. As you can see from the first slide, we're going to talk about academic quality. What I would like to do is call your attention to a publication or a handout that Saddleback has provided. And this publication, if you look in the the second and third page, you will see a list of all of the programs, certificates, and degrees that Saddleback College offers. This, if you were to count up all of the dots on these pages, you would see that we have over 300 different certificate, degrees, and awards that we have. So it's an overwhelming task in many ways to try to ensure that we have the academic quality in our programs. So we want to show that that is a shared responsibility and highlight each person's and each group's responsibility in that particular sharing. If we look at the first slide here, we'll see that you, the Board of Trustees, has a responsibility in this area, and you do carry that out very well, and that is to recognize and support the faculty's leadership in continuously improving the academic programs and the outcomes. And you do that not only working with the faculty and making sure that we have all of the support that's necessary, but holding them accountable through your administration in people like myself and the deans to ensure that we do have accountability for our educational quality. Also, on the board's accountability, you'll see that Title V and the California Education Code does spell out the responsibility for academic quality and ensuring that our colleges do their job in providing the academic quality, as well as the commission. Trustee Jay and several others this evening mentioned our accreditation reports that we've been producing. And in many of those reports, we highlight all of the wonderful things that we're doing and the things that we have to do to ensure that we have academic quality. Also, the board has policies that delegate the authority to, in the case of BP 2100, to the Chancellor. The Chancellor is the overseer of the academic programs at the colleges within the district. And also the Academic Senate in BP 2100.1 has responsibility for curriculum. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. And also the college presidents, the educational leadership that they provide, and the support that they ensure that the faculty and the administrators have to ensure the quality. And then the board policies dealing with curriculum instruction, and I've given you 3 of those. There are many more that are sprinkled throughout the board policies. So we do recognize that we have the responsibility for ensuring academic quality.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Davis Allen, Academic Senate President, and I'm going to take just a moment to talk to you about Title V 10+1, which guarantees the delegation of the authority of the Academic Senate here at the South Orange County Community College District. So I'd like to just go through the 11 quickly. Number 1, we are responsible in our authority for curriculum, which Chris will talk about further in just a moment, which includes establishing prerequisites and placing courses within disciplines. Secondly, the faculty takes very seriously their job in the work of degree and certificate requirements, grading policies, and educational program development. We also are driving the bus, so to speak, as we establish standards and policies regarding student preparation and success. District and college governance structures as related to faculty roles. Number 7, we're also responsible for the faculty roles and involvement in the accreditation processes. And of course, I can speak closely to that over the last few months, and not only have worked hard in it, but take it as an honor and a privilege to have that authority and to lend our assistance as faculty. In 8, policies for faculty professional development and our activities, and I believe that Dan will be talking about that shortly with you as well. Processes for program review. We have all recently been really involved in new technology to help faculty perform their duties and their responsibilities in program review more effectively and more efficiently. Processes for institutional planning and budget development, and that 10+1, that number 1 or the other, or other matters as mutually agreed upon between the Board of Trustees and the Academic Senate, or as otherwise provided by state regulation or state statute or regulation, excuse me. Did we get it? We got it too far? Mm-hmm. Secondly, I'd just like to bring up ensuring academic quality as faculty role. We certainly are ensuring and work hard to keep the standards of academic quality high at both of our institutions in curriculum development. We're actively involved in it, and our curriculum chairs have cabinet seats on our Academic Senate. Faculty professional development. We're fortunate in this district to still have the opportunity and the funds to engage in faculty professional development. It's extremely important. Of course, we wouldn't want to go to a doctor's office that didn't have doctors who were keeping up in their profession to provide absolutely the best product available, and faculty are no different. as discipline experts and professionals in their field. Assessment of programs and learning and organizational relationships and partnerships. Faculty are very involved and have primary roles, particularly in our career tech ed and other certificates, where we pull expertise and get information from advisory forums and boards and groups that help us in career-led certifications.
Good evening. Chris Lepine Christensen, Saddleback faculty and curriculum chair this year, co-chair from last year. So what I would like to talk about is how we develop curriculum. There are 5 standards that the State Chancellor's Office uses in reviewing both programs and courses. And those are the first 4 that you see up there, and then we could add one more, which is compliance. So the 4 things listed are appropriateness to mission, need, curriculum standards, adequate resources, and then the 5th that the State Chancellor's Office looks at is compliance. So every time we develop a course, we review a course, we put forward a course, we have to demonstrate that it meets these 5 criteria. So briefly, those criteria are appropriateness to mission. That would be the mission of the community college system, which has been the same for the last 50 or so years, but there's talk about it changing, and as it changes, we need to adapt to those changes. And that's established by the legislature. So we have to make sure that our programs support what the legislature has set out as the purpose of our programs, our courses, our certificates, and whatnot. When we look at need, we have to demonstrate that there's a need in the community for the courses, that our students have a need for the courses. If it's a career technical class, that the labor market supports those classes. So the general need has to be established. We have to ensure we're not offering courses that the community can't benefit from. We have to make sure we don't offer courses that compete with other colleges that have similar vocational programs. So that all gets considered, and I'll walk you through the process of how we do that on the next slide. When we look at standards, those would be those mandated through the accreditation standards, Title V and Ed Code. So as the courses come through review, and they come through every 2 to 5 years if they're existing courses, or as needed as courses are developed by faculty, we have to ensure that they meet all of those standards. And then when we look at adequate resources, we have to ensure that the college and district are willing to support the programs that we offer. One of the things we look at is to ensure that we can offer a course every 2 years. If we can't offer a course every 2 years, we need to consider deleting that course from our catalog, because it's presenting a course to the community that suggests that we're offering a course that we can't in fact support. We can't put forth programs that we don't have the resources to support, those types of things. And then when we look at compliance, we're getting back into ensuring that our courses don't conflict with any laws, that the courses that we offer are appropriate at the 2-year level, that we're not teaching graduate level statistics or 3rd and 4th year courses that you would see at the university level. And the compliance takes in accreditation standards, the industry trends, and developments in higher education. And the way we ensure compliance is through trainings that are put on by the Academic Senate. Faculty attend, we do in-service trainings and whatnot, Flex Week trainings. So this is the general process that we follow. It starts with the faculty. Curriculum is faculty driven. And what you might not know is this process actually begins in April or May of the preceding year. And you typically don't see it here until mid-spring semester. So it's almost an entire year cycle that we go through before curriculum makes it to the Board of Trustees for review. So it starts with the faculty originator. They're trained through the curriculum process, the curriculum chair. They are the discipline experts that establish the co-requisites, the prerequisites, the recommended prep, the content of the courses. And if you go back to the previous slides, you see that we are all members of different professional organizations, so we're abreast of all the changes in student learning outcomes in different professions, labor market trends, and whatnot. As a course is being developed, the articulation officer is involved if it's going to be a transfer level course, and the articulation officers establish whether it will be CSU, UC, or transfer to both institutions. They also establish the agreements to ensure that they transfer to private universities. Then the department reviews that. That is both departmental faculty, and you will see inserted under that is departmental staff. They bundle the curriculum for us, so it comes to us as a neat package. And when I say to us, I'm talking about the technical review committee, which is the curriculum specialist, the curriculum chair, and the articulation officer, in addition to the department chair and the other division representatives. And it's there that we make sure the compliance issue is met, that the content is appropriate for the length of the course, the title of the course, that it meets the established standards for the discipline and whatnot. From there, it goes to the curriculum committee, where they actually see it twice. They get it first as an information item, and then they get it 2 weeks later for action. So there's plenty of time for the entire body to review the curriculum. From there, it goes to the academic senate. From the academic senate, it goes to you, the Board of Trustees, and then finally we move it on to the State Chancellor's office for final approval. And I just want to reiterate, it takes about a year for it to get there. So it's a very thorough process in which courses are developed and revised on a 2 to 5 year cycle, or as needed based on changing trends.
Dan Walsh, Saddleback College Geography and Saddleback College Academic Senate President. First, what is faculty development? These are activities that are focused on improvement in teaching skills, advancement of knowledge in a field of study, and improving student success. And why do we do these activities other than our 38-hour contractual obligation? Most of us do it because it's part of being a college professor and being in higher education. We're professionals, and there's a passion for our jobs and these activities that want us, or that we want to maintain a high quality of education like we all want in the district. And we can break this into 3 major categories. The best practices in teaching would be improvement of our teaching skills themselves, both in the traditional classroom and those that are online. The academic quality is enhanced in promoting faculty members to remain current and active in their fields of study. And then clearly the first 2 work towards the third as students receive better instruction because of them. But faculty development activities can also work directly in developing skills and knowledge to help students by promoting basic skills, activities, awareness in what services are provided on campus, and other similar training so they can be successful students. And we don't just seek out to hire the best faculty. We want to make sure they stay on top of their game as long as they're with the district. These are but a few examples of how faculty seek to maintain the quality of education at Saddleback College. The Center for Instructional Design and Distance Education, or the much more easily said CIDI, provides state-of-the-art facilities for supporting and training, often one-on-one, for faculty using online instruction, as well as those using technology in the classroom. The Institute for Teaching and Learning provides faculty workshops and training in instructional and course design, teaching and learning strategies, basic skills across the curriculum, and the focus here is on learning, not just on teaching. Our faculty learning communities promote ongoing conversations between interdisciplinary faculty to discuss innovative ideas and put them into practice. Our flex or in-service days are those development activities that are related to instructional improvement. 38 hours are required of each faculty member. Activities during in-service week range from Blackboard training to presentations on various programs on campus for our faculty and students. Many faculty reach the 38 hours quite easily. In fact, I usually stop reporting them once I get to 50 because it seems kind of redundant, and I keep telling myself every year when I'm going to break the 150 mark, and then I realize I did and didn't report it. So, and then finally is faculty development funding. Faculty development funding provides financial assistance to faculty for attending workshops and conferences related to their field and other teaching-related activities. For example, I'm going to exotic San Jose this week to work on creating consistent course descriptors for geography throughout the state of California. We'll also be working on the CSU transfer degree for geography, working with the CSUs. I've already done one workshop in Southern California, and I'm doing another one in Northern California. I'm able to do this and participate because of faculty development funding, and that's just one area where it's just one example of how it's paid off. It also means that Saddleback College is represented in the process, and we have a say in what happens at the state level.
Just to take a moment to add to what Dan has explained already, just to point out a few additional things that we do at Irvine Valley College unique to our needs and our faculty. Of course, as Dan mentioned, we also do Blackboard training for faculty and course management for distance education, both fully online and in the development of our hybrid courses. In addition, this year we're also engaging, in fact, tomorrow and I believe Wednesday are 2 day-long reviews for faculty training in TrackDat for program review and student learning outcomes assessment. New tools, new technology to help us more effectively perform those tasks. As well, and you've heard of this before, we're involved through the Academic Senate and in conjunction with our student governance, ASIVC, we put on the Distinguished Academic Lecture Series. This year we expect to have 3 of those for our community. We also have Monday night what we call IVC to IVC Faculty Lecture Series. I know that some of you have attended those as well for the last couple of years. We've put together the opportunity for experts in our fields, our own faculty, to have the opportunity to speak to things they love, research they're interested in, and put that on as part of the lecture series for IVC to IVC. We also currently under development or putting together brown bags on the campus for faculty during the afternoons, as well as now for 2 years a well-developed new faculty orientation to help our new colleagues come up on board and find their way through the maze that we call faculty work at IVC. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Claire Cesario-Silva. I'm faculty at Saddleback College, and I'm also coordinator of our Educational Planning and Assessments Committee. So I'm going to talk to you about the assessment of programs and learning at both colleges. And this is really what's called the quest for continuous quality improvement. So we are always looking at and reviewing what it is that we do and how well we do it. This is something that we've been doing for quite a while, but it's become more systematic over the years, especially through the new ACC-JC standards that kind of mandate a certain way of doing things through student learning outcomes. But it's something that faculty have been doing in their classes and in their programs for ever since they started teaching. It's just taken on different names and different forms over the years. And this is what we do to document how well it is that we do what we're doing and how well our students are achieving success within our classes. It's a comprehensive system that we look at the 3 prongs of it, which are curriculum, so in the design and development of the courses and the programs. And then we look at the student learning outcomes, which looks at how well students are doing in achieving the objectives that we set out for the course, what it is they should come out of the course or program knowing and being able to do, what kinds of skills they can put into practice as a result of having taken that course or that program. We also have a related administrative unit outcome, so it's not just assessment of what's going on within the classroom, but assessment of what's going on throughout the campus. Because as you all know, quality isn't just in the classroom, and student success entails everything that we do at the college. And then we do comprehensive reviews of the programs and what they're achieving, where we look at everything from how well we're doing on our student learning outcomes to how well we're doing in staffing to what kinds of needs that we have, which is then linked to planning at the college and resource allocations at the program at the college. So we have instructional program review, and then on the other side we have administrative unit review. So that's where all the student service and administrative units also do the same kind of assessment of their units and how successful they are.
Just to go into a little bit more detail on the student learning outcomes, we do this on 3 levels. We do it at the course level. So every single course has 3, in our case at Saddleback, 3 to 5, and in some cases as many as 12 or 15 student learning outcomes that are written for the course. So a student goes into that course knowing what to expect of that course, what it is they're going to be learning, and what it is they're going to be able to do at the end of that course. We also have those linked to program student learning outcomes. So for every degree and every certificate program, there's a set of also 3 to 5, but sometimes as many as 12 to 15, and I've seen even more. Program level student learning outcomes. So if you get a degree or certificate at Saddleback or Irvine Valley College, this is what you should expect to be able to do at the end of it. And then we also have institutional student learning outcomes. So everybody who goes through this college, what it is that they should be able to do at the end. And this goes beyond just the discipline to things like civic mindedness and global awareness and computer literacy and things like that. So it's not just what you learn within your discipline, but what you learn throughout your 2 years here at the college. And then, again, administrative unit outcomes. So every administrative unit and student service unit assesses what they're doing, how successful they are in providing the services on the campus. And each of those units has 3 to 5 and sometimes many more administrative unit outcomes that they assess. And then the more detailed reports are done through the program reviews and the administrative unit reviews.
And I'm Kathy Worley, Dean of Academic Programs at Irvine Valley College. You've already heard about a lot of the parallel activities taking place on both campuses, and I'm going to wind up with the things that we as a district do collaboratively to ensure quality in instruction. Part of this is through organizational relationships and partnerships. We have a lot of organizations to which board members belong, to which the college administration and to the faculty, memberships that some are college memberships, some are district, but nevertheless serve us in this capacity. And these include the Academic Senate of the California Community Colleges, the Los Angeles Orange County Workforce Development Leaders. This group is required to review and approve or endorse all career technical education programs before they can be submitted to the state. Program advisory boards, which serve us in the capacity of directing and guiding curriculum, and also in some cases hopefully providing us with potential faculty from within the industry for adjunct positions. Other higher educational institutions, business councils and leaders, employers including cooperative work experience providers where students can earn college credit for an internship-like activity or for work experience, the College Foundation Board, and civic and professional organizations. And with that, we're going to wrap up. I apologize for getting here late, but we do have some information on our programs and want to end by thanking you and asking if you have any questions of any of the panel members.
Yes, Trustee Prendergast.
Yeah, I have 2 questions on curriculum development, so Professor Lapine, you're up. You mentioned that you were going to go over how the need was determined, but I didn't really catch that as far as, I mean, is it if they build it, they will come, or is there a survey done? How do we know that students want a forensics class or a archaeology class or something? How is that need determined?
Excellent
I didn't really
question.
get that.
If it is a career technical, it's usually based on labor market statistics, and that need needs to be established with the state and through LODL, a consortium that ensures that, 1, there is a labor market need, and 2, that it's not competing with other programs. There is a presumption of need if it's an academic program that leads to transfer. So if it is a course or a program that leads to a program at an equivalent 4-year institution, the state presumes that's a need of the program. So if we can establish equivalency of courses at the freshman or sophomore level, that establishes need for any transfer course. And then on a more broad scale, we support it through program review. program review that every approximately 5 years we're going to a more frequent program review cycle, but it establishes what the needs are in a program. So if courses are missing, if courses are stagnant, and also as we have demands from the public, our community says we have this need. The board has presented us in the past with labor market statistics, so have the colleges, about certain industries that will, as the workforce ages, where needs will be.
Okay. And my second question was, you mentioned that the development process takes about a year.
Correct.
Is that expedited at all? Is there a difference between transfer courses versus non-transfer courses in that process? Does it seem like it would be quicker if it was a transfer course? And as you just mentioned, there's that need for it to get into the 4-year.
Courses come about faster than programs. So a program is a collection of courses that all together culminate in a common goal. Some examples of where we've expedited would be our transfer degrees. You've seen 2 so far. You have 2 more coming and quite a few more working their way down the pipeline. And right now we have psychology and sociology both approved as the SB 1440 degrees. So in some cases they're expedited. The problem with curriculum is to ensure a thorough review. It really does take at least a full semester to get through the process because the faculty member needs to develop the course. The division needs to review it. It needs to go through a technical review, and we don't want to rush it to such an extent that our curriculum committee doesn't have time to look at the impact that the courses are having, because many of our courses have prerequisites that are outside of the discipline. For instance, a research class might have an English prerequisite, and that impacts at a college level, so we don't want to rush it to the extent that no one qualifies for that course because they can't get into the prerequisite course.
Perfect.
But
Thank you very much.
We're flexible. So.
Trustee Melchiker, did you want to have a question?
Yeah, I have a question and 2 comments. First of all, I want to thank you. It was a really comprehensive report, and it was very interesting. I'm sure it's very, very informative for the board, and it's real important that the board knows all this. And I also want to say that I don't know if the board members realize how hard it is to write SLOs, but they're really difficult to write. And also, I took a class at Saddleback College on teaching a course online, and I don't know if anybody here realizes how hard it is to teach an online course, but it's really hard. So just want you to know that. The other question, again, is Professor Christensen. I know that in the past some of our vocation, and it's similar to the former question, but for instance, we had a program that was for someone to run a travel agency, and we decided that wasn't needed anymore in the times of internet. So we are not having that anymore. And then I think we're talking about having a law clerk program at IVC. So how do you do the research to find out which of these? We want our students that finish these certificate programs to get jobs when they finish the program. Right. And how do you do the research to find out that these are really, our students can get jobs after they finish the programs?
Excellent question. That's where the discipline faculty come in. No one knows the programs and the coursework better than the discipline faculty who teach them. Going back to the organizations, they're part of the local groups that they are members of. If we look at need again, we have to establish when it comes through tech review that there is a need for the course. So in the career technical, they have to do labor market research. They actually have to survey employers and look at the statistics to demonstrate that there are not only jobs in that field, but the jobs pay a reasonable wage. And that's why we also have Lodal, because in those areas where you have a very small area that can support, say, travel agents. There's probably not a lot of openings, as you stated. So we don't want to offer a travel agent program at Saddleback if one's being offered at IVC or Fullerton College, and we're training more individuals than there are jobs for those individuals. So it's research, and that's what faculty learn to do in graduate school, and it's just hitting the pavement and getting the data.
Yeah, I'm a research biologist, so I
there you
enjoy
go.
that.
Okay, Trustee Lang.
Yes, typically on our agenda, we will see a number of different grants that come to us for acceptance. And I'm wondering if you could speak perhaps a little bit to decision process in terms of accepting these grants, whether they're typically going to be related to a program that we already have in existence, or perhaps if we don't, whether that may lead to a program. Could you speak to that perhaps just a little bit?
I can speak on behalf of Saddleback College. I believe Kathy will fill in. You're quite right. When we do see a grant opportunity, we will review the requirements of the grant, what it is intended to do, and make certain that that fulfills our mission. It does fit with the mission of the college as well as the district. Oftentimes, grants are offered that provide us the opportunity to use those grant monies to develop programs, and in many cases to hire faculty to start teaching within those program areas. So grants are one way that we're able to build new programs. But we also have to be careful that when we're looking at a grant and accepting a grant, that there is an understanding in most cases that we will then, what they call, institutionalize the grant. We will then develop the ability within our general funds of the college to continue operating that. So we have to take those ideas into consideration as well.
And at IVC, the grants have historically come through one particular unit, and that unit reports to the Vice President of Instruction, so there's been very close coordination. But as we're working with faculty to kind of look out and identify opportunities, we're trying to provide them with some resources on how to do that. One of the considerations is to look at getting a grant or applying for a grant that actually meets an existing need. You're trying to solve a problem with a grant because it is one-time money, possibly for several years, but it is one-time money. Secondly, looking at, again, the institutionalization. I've often cautioned my faculty, never accept a gift that eats. If it's going to cost us money, you want to look at that very seriously. But that is one of our objectives in the next year or two, is to start looking for additional sources of revenue in grants or project-funded activities that we might take on that meet the mission and goals of the college.
Okay, I believe Trustee Meldau has a question.
Not a question so much, but I'd just like to say that even those of us that have been in education and training for a long period of time, we kind of sometimes forget, if we're not active in it on a day-to-day basis, just how much work and thought and care goes into developing programs and developing classes and stuff. And I just wish that the students would be able to pick up more on this and what you actually spend your time doing. And because it's really amazing the quality of classes that we're coming up with, thanks to your hard work. So I think I speak for the rest of the board when I say thank you so much for presenting this to the board, because it gives us a good overview, it gives us a good review of what's going on, and just proud of you. Thank you.
All right, seeing no other requests to speak, thank you very much for an excellent report and for your hard work. We appreciate it very much. All right, we are now at the consent calendar, and I'll entertain a motion to...
So moved.
All right, are there any items, Trustee Lang?
Yes, I just have a couple of brief questions regarding 5.3, 5.6, and 5.9.
So we will pull 5.3, 5.6, 5.9, and I'm going to pull 5.10, so Trustee Melchecker can abstain.
Okay.
So
In 5.2, please.
5.2. Okay. Anything else from trustees? All right. We will vote on the balance of the consent calendar, except for those items that are pulled. Did I have a second to that motion? Yes. Okay. Thank you. All in
Grace
favor
has a
of the
question.
balance?
Wait, Grace has a question.
Sorry.
We have two resolutions,
Oh, so we need to have those pulled separately?
511 and 512.
Sorry, what?
511 and 512.
5, gosh, we almost have the whole consent calendar. And 512. All right, so we're going to pull these items: 5.2, 5.3, 5.6, 5.9, 5.10, 5.11, and 5.12. And we will vote on the balance of the consent calendar. All right, please vote.
Of which there's nothing left.
It's not showing up.
Okay, and there we go. Okay, it carries unanimously with one trustee absent and one student advisory vote, yes. All right. So now we'll vote, we'll go to 5.2.
And I just wanted to bring this to people's attention. I know that's people don't really like that, but anyway, we're talking about grants. We're getting a $15,000 grant for ATEP at Irvine Valley College for technical education, and I just want to say this is moving in the right direction, and I move approval on this item. Okay.
All right, so it's moved and seconded. No other comments? Let's vote on the item. Oops. Okay, carries unanimously with one absent and one student advisory yes vote. 5.3, Trustee Lang, right?
Yes. My question on 5.3 is why this item appears to be coming to us quite a bit after the effective date that the agreement already started. Perhaps somebody can address that.
Okay.
I see a June 1st,
Okay.
2011
Vice Chancellor
effective date.
Fitzsimmons will address your question.
Yes, I did talk to the college about this matter, and basically we needed some time to work through the language, contract language, to make sure it was acceptable, because Kaplan will be assuming responsibility for the existing 4 modular buildings, and we had to go back and forth with legal and make sure that the language was stated properly, so the risk was not on the district's part, but on Kaplan's part for those 4 modular buildings.
Okay. Anything else, Trustee Lang?
No, that's it.
All right. No other comments? Let's vote on the item. No, I need to have a motion, please, in a second.
I move approval.
Trustee Melchiker moved. And Trustee Pendergrass seconded. Let's vote on the item, please. Carries unanimously with one trustee absent and one student advisory yes vote. 5.6 at this point. That was also Trustee Lang.
Yes, my question on 5.6 was just that I was wondering who the designated Saddleback program coordinator for this item was going to be. Wasn't indicated in the is it the person that's running the child development program?
Who's going to respond to this? Don Bouguet or I'm sorry.
Is it the? Thank you. That's what I was hoping
Okay.
you would
If
say.
you could just repeat that in the mic, because I don't think people could hear him, please. What is it? Yeah, go ahead, please.
It's the head of our child development program.
Okay, all right. So it's been moved, and
I have one question on it briefly, and I was thinking of pulling it off, but I didn't. Why is it through Yosemite College? I didn't really understand that. Do you know?
Yeah, I can answer that. Okay. It's typical that state grants in particular are going to be administered through a community college. In fact, IVC and Saddleback College are often held as administrators for various statewide grants. In fact, I get to talk about one soon.
Great, thank you.
okay, I have a motion from Trustee Jay. I don't have a second yet. Second, Trustee Melchiker. Let's vote on the item. Okay, Trustee Meldau. Okay, matter carries unanimously with one absent vote and one student advisory vote. We are now at 5.9. Trustee Lang.
Yes, my question on 5.9 was I want to make certain that I'm determining the language in the status correctly, where it says funds for these services are available in the basic aid budget. I'm presuming that means that those funds will come out of the existing allocation that has been made from basic aid rather than new basic aid funding to pay for this item.
I don't want to speak on behalf of Chancellor, but that was the assumption, but I'll have to verify the intent of the person who actually wrote this action memo.
Yeah, I would have the same question. We normally have projection for basic aid and comes to the board before that's put in a contract. Chancellor, you want to respond?
I don't know who this item came from.
IT.
IT, it looks
Came
like.
from IT,
Yeah.
and Bob's
Looks
not
like an
here.
IT item.
It looks as if we're going to have to verify that.
And generally speaking, the language they're using is available in the basic aid, means it was in the budget that was approved, but if you want, we can verify that. We can bring it back to you.
Does this need to be able?
David?
Okay, David.
I might have a bit of background on this. The original contract with Perceptive Software was funded through basic aid allocations, and we did some considerable work on it to reduce cost originally. So I would suspect, even though I'm not part of this actual item, I would suspect that there was funding originally allocated in the original basic aid allocation for this item, and they're returning back from a cost allocation, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay, and the Vice Chancellor is just agreeing with you.
No, when you look at the item, there's two different amounts. The fund that was approved by Basic Aid was $426,8045. That's in the background, first sentence. But down below, there is a total revised fee amount of $446 that was not authorized by the board previously as Basic Aid allocation.
Okay, how much trouble would this be to bring it back? Is that going to be a problem in terms of deadline?
No, it's no problem at all. Our next meeting is November 16th.
Okay, so do we have a motion then to table this until it returns? All right.
Yeah,
So there's a motion to table by Trustee Lang. Do I hear a second? Second by Trustee Meldau. Trustee Melchiker, you wanted to?
I was going to say something, but if.
But not with a,
I
you
can't.
can't talk about it if it's a motion to table.
Okay,
so-
okay.
Sorry, you'll get a chance next time. Okay. All right. All right, let's vote on the motion to table. Bring it back next time. Okay, carries unanimously with one trustee absent and one student advisory yes. 5.10 I pulled because Trustee Melchiker's name is in it. I thought she might want to abstain.
That sounds good.
All right.
Second.
All moved and seconded. Let's vote on the item with trustee. Okay, 2 abstentions, and the rest are unanimous with student advisory yes vote. 5.11, we were advised is a roll call vote. So this item is recommended by the Chancellor to adopt Resolution 11.31, authorizing payment to Trustee Fuentes, who was absent from the September 26th meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Would you read the roll, please?
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Lang?
Aye.
Trustee Meldau?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Padberg?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Student Trustee Larson?
Okay, so the matter carries unanimously with a student advisory yes vote. 5.12, sorry.
Point of order, Madam President. It just seems to me that we've approved this item in the past without it being a roll call vote, and I'm just wondering what's changed.
Okay.
Our procedure this night changed.
Also,
What changed?
also, it seems unusual to have something that's a roll call vote on the consent calendar, because
Okay.
if,
Well, we'll
maybe we
have,
can check into that.
yeah, we'll have our council look at that and come back with another response. Okay, 5.12 is another roll call, and this is for adopting a resolution 11.32 to amend the 2011-2012 adopted budget as in Exhibits A and B. Okay,
Second.
all right. So moved and seconded. Any comments? I see none. Let's vote on the item. Oh, I'm sorry. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Lang? Trustee Meldau?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Padberg?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Student Trustee Larson?
All right, carries unanimously with student advisory vote and absent vote. All right, so that takes care of the consent calendar, and we are now at the action item, 6.1. And this is faculty hiring for Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College. And we just had a comment from one of our faculty about this, so you're going to present this, Chancellor? Or Vice Chancellor Bouguet?
No, I'll talk to it. This year, this past spring, we had a retirement incentive program for faculty, and we had very large participation. The way the program works is that it's paid for by savings in the first year with hiring part-time faculty. And so this is the list of full-time faculty that will be hired to basically replace the people that went out. And I think there's a few extra, maybe 2 extra that are on here. I don't know the cases of why. But mostly the large number has to do with the retirement incentive.
Okay. Trustee Lang.
Yes, just a procedural item. It seems to me that most of the time when we receive these, they come to us already signed off by, I think, everybody but the Chancellor. In this case, nobody has signed off on the position request list.
Okay, well, you're...
Which for me, it just indicates that, it's gone through the proper channels, that everybody has agreed that, in fact, this is the final list and so forth and so on.
Okay. And Chancellor presented the item and supports it, it sounds like. So, all right. Any other comments or questions? Do we have a motion to accept this?
So move.
Okay, I have a motion from Trustee Pendergast and a second from Trustee Jay. Any other comments? Let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 1 trustee absent and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.2, this is the Saddleback College James B. Utt Memorial Learning Resource Center renovation, and this is to, I believe, adjust some of the costs for that. So I'll let the Chancellor present this item, or is this going to be presented by Vice Chancellor Spitzemans?
It's not an adjustment of costs. Basically, it's asking your approval for the use of the listed multiple ward contracts for furniture for this particular project.
Okay.
And the amount that's being recommended is within the already
It's already
approved
within
basic
that.
aid budget.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay, any questions or comments from trustees? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion, please.
So move.
Moved by Trustee Jay. Second, please. Second by Trustee Meldau. Let's vote on the item. Okay. Trustee Milchecker,
I said yes, didn't
you didn't vote. Okay. Carries unanimously with 1 trustee absent, student advisory yes vote. 6.3, this is ATEP, and it's for change order request number 1 for site utility severance and demolition. Chancellor is recommending this item. It was submitted by Vice Chancellor Fitzsimmons. Would you like to make any comments?
This is a recommendation for a change order which will decrease $50,000 in the project cost, and we recommend you approve it as presented.
That's rare. That is rare. We will
Move approval of this item.
Do I hear a motion, please? Okay. Trustee Lang moved, or Trustee Milchecker seconded, whatever. All right. Let's vote on the item. Gladly. Okay. Carries unanimously with 1 trustee absent and a student advisory yes vote. 6.4, board policy revisions. This is for discussion and approval, and we have several board policies, 4201.2, 6200, and 2100.
I move approval of the item.
Okay. Any comments or questions?
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Seeing no one wishing to speak, let's vote on the item. Okay, carries unanimously with 1 trustee absent and a student advisory yes. 6.5, this is board policy revision, board policy 1900, alcoholic beverages on campus. And this is, the Chancellor recommends the Board of Trustees set for review and study this policy, which will make some slight changes, it appears. Would you like to comment, Chancellor?
Yes, this policy is just intended as a minor revision as they've gone through the annual or biannual review. It changes a code section also, which I think was found to be incorrect, and eliminated ATEP also from the policy.
Okay.
Other than that, it's the same.
Trustee Pendergast, did you wish to comment?
Yeah, in reading through this, I was looking at the language, and something struck out to me, whether it matters too much or not. It was very nice to attend the homecoming festivities that we had at, at the President's Club there, and it was really nice, but then to find out that we may have been violating board policy by having alcohol at that event, knowing that it was was a good function and it served a good purpose. It seems to me we might need to revise this to allow that to continue. Otherwise, it sounds like it might have to go away. And I, for one, would support rewriting it to allow that to continue.
Okay, well, this is for review and study, so you can bring that back. It will have to go out to our constituents, to shared governance groups to look at, too. So we'll look at that when it comes back for a final. Is that right? So right now, we need a motion to accept just for review and study.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
A couple other comments.
I'm sorry. Okay. Trustee Milchecker is up on next on my screen.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with Trustee Prendergast on that issue, to make it a little more broad, because now that we've already approved it, and it's approved statewide, let's make it a little more broad. I also wonder why we took ATEP out. I know there's no ATEP foundation now, and that's probably why we took it out, but why not just leave it in, so if there is an ATEP foundation, it will be ready?
Okay. Chancellor Portner.
There is an ATEP foundation. It hasn't been very active in recent years, but there is one officially set up because at the time, we thought it was going to move faster than it actually has.
So I'd recommend to put ATEP back in it.
The question I was going to ask is that we had Trustee Prendergast voicing that he'd like to see a change, but I don't really have a feeling from the full board if they want us to go work on that or not. And it would be good to have that direction from the board.
I agree that we should.
Does that need to be a motion and then voted on?
I don't know. If I just had enough board members say, yes, why don't you, then we'd move with that.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to exploring it. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but this is just for review and study, so we're not, look at that. Yes, if there's one trustee who wants it, I would support looking at it.
So we would bring it back to you with language the next time that would provide that we can do it?
No. If you look at it and you don't think it's right, you won't bring it back that way, and you'll tell us why. But if you think it is, then you'll come back with some language. So
Okay.
do you need 4 board members to?
That's all right.
No.
Okay.
All right, any other?
Can I move to accept for review and study?
Yes, you can. May I have a
so
second?
move then.
But you still have Dave
Well,
wanting-
we do, but we're just commenting about it. Is there a second? I mean, we should have done that before we discussed.
second.
Seconded by Trustee Prendergast. Did you want to comment now? Trustee Prendergast? No?
No, Dave wanted-
Dave did. It's not showing up on my screen. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I'm just wondering, obviously, I recall this being a somewhat controversial policy when we originally adopted it in 2007, and I wanted to, inquire as to whether there has been any problems associated with the policy since it's been in effect since that time, before we look at expanding the policy any further.
I have not heard of any problems associated with this as far as, and I think that I guess both colleges have had fundraiser where you've had sale of alcohol associated with the fundraiser on campus.
Vice Chancellor Fitzsimmons.
I would just like to say that this was just the normal routine review, and this policy came up because of the date. The event that we were speaking of from Saddleback was not sale of alcohol. It was a fundraising event held by the foundation, but it was at the football game. So we could put some kind of language in there
That would exempt.
that could, under certain circumstances, if the board so desires.
Okay. Trustee
I
Prendergast.
can-
I'm sorry, he's next.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And that's what I was just going to basically say is that, my only thing was, it wasn't for sale. It was provided as part of the foundation fundraising type event, but it was the football game and other athletic events that struck out at me. And so that's why I was thinking, it could be reworded in a way like an exception for the homecoming President's Club or an exception for certain things, or you
Take it out.
Again, I wouldn't know where to begin on how to make it comply, but it seems like it would be an unfortunate loss for something that is foundation related. And again, it wasn't for sale, but it was possessed and used at a football game.
Trustee Milchecker.
Yeah, I just want to give a little bit of the history. Formerly, community colleges were not allowed to serve, any community college was not allowed to serve any alcoholic beverages on any campus because they were considered to be K-14. They had the same regulations as K-12. And then with the advent of AB 1725, when community colleges were considered to be higher education, not K-12 education, so we have, most of our students are 18 and above, they decided to allow, and I don't know what the state, we have to look and see what the state regulation is, but I think we decided that at foundation events, it's less expensive for us to hold a foundation event at the colleges, and people are more apt to spend more money if there's alcohol served. So we possibly could raise more money that way, to be honest. So anyway.
Okay, and the Chancellor wanted to have a question for our Vice Chancellor, and then we'll go to Trustee Meldau.
A question came up about why was ATEP struck from the policy, and I don't happen to know that. Do you recall the discussion? We keep really good tracking, almost like an audit trail. When we revise the policies, I can go back and take a look at that.
Okay. All right, Trustee Lang, and then we'll go to Trustee Meldau. He had his hand up first. I apologize.
Yeah, just, I guess, a couple of other issues, and that is I guess one thing I would want to be certain of is that, A, we've got adequate insurance coverage to cover us in the event of something that occurs either at a foundation event or certainly to the extent we want to expand this policy. What other, what kind of liability considerations should we be thinking about in that regard? And then secondly, I also wonder whether there's an issue on ATEP relative either to, Tustin Legacy, and competing there,
She's going to look
or
into it.
something else with respect to Tustin. I think those things certainly have to be vetted, before we were to expand this further.
Trustee Meldau.
I hate to be a wet blanket, but I think that we're going in the opposite direction of the way most places are going, and that's limiting alcoholic beverages at sporting events especially. There's a big difference between offering wine at a dinner dance for the foundation and having alcoholic beverages at a sporting event such as a football game or a basketball game. And I think that we need to explore that, and we need to explore our liability and have the legal counsel take a look at any language that we may want to bring before the board.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion to accept for review and study, and I'd like to, at this point, take a vote. I see no one else wishing to speak. Let's vote, please. Carries unanimously with one trustee absent and student advisory yes vote. 6.6, this is academic personnel actions, and this is recommended for approval.
Move approval.
No changes, all right. Moved by Trustee Milchecker. Second by Trustee Meldau. Let's vote on the item. See no one wish to speak? All right. Carries unanimously with one trustee absent and one student advisory yes. We're now at 6.7, classified personnel actions, and this is a big item. And I believe that our Vice Chancellor has some comments.
Yes, I'd like to modify.
Could you put your mouth closer to the microphone? Thank you.
I'd like to modify on page 9 of the item C16. There was an administrative error of full-time when I changed it to part-time. A lot of times 29 hours a week is a part-time job. And the other one, too, is on items on page 7, B12, on page 9, C15, and on page 11, item FA. They're all three interrelated, but I'd like to ask the board my indulgence if they could approve that separately with the following language on it, that it approves subject to clarification of the applicability of CSEA's policy 610. There is a discussion that we're having with our CSA union pertaining to their internal policy of 610. So we'd like to actually ask the board on those items if they could approve those three items separately. Just
Okay,
with
so we'll if I hear a motion to do that, we'll pull those like we do with the consent calendar and vote the balance and then come back and vote those.
Okay, so I'll move to approve, subject to clarification of the applicability of CSEA's policy 610.
Well, I think what we need to do is to
Separate with those changes.
pull them off of the whole item, and then we'll have you make that motion after we come back to them. But we're going to vote on the whole item with the exclusion of 7B12, 9C15, 9C16, and 11, these are page numbers, the first number, FA. Is that correct?
That's correct, except for on page 9, C16, if you could just include
It's not
it by...
eliminated. It's just,
Yeah, just change it
just
to
full-time,
part-time.
part-time.
Oh, okay. All right, so that would be just one correction. So then we'd only be pulling the first two. Is that correct? The first two that I read?
Yeah, if the board could separate
Okay,
out
first
item
three.
B12, C15, and F.
A, okay.
Yes.
All right. All right, so
I move that.
we have a motion to pull those. Do you have a second on that motion?
My second.
Second, all right. Let's vote on, all
wait.
right, Trustee Lang.
Request to speak. Thank you. I'm just was hopeful that somebody could speak to the substantial reorganization items that are occurring in B and C, so that I better understand exactly.
Could
you know,
we just make this motion to pull? We're going to vote separately, that's all, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss everything.
Oh, this is the motion.
Yeah, this is just the motion to pull, okay? All right, pull and vote them separately. So let's vote on that, please. All right. Okay, matter carries unanimously with one trustee absent and one student advisor, yes. Now, we'll come back and you want to discuss
So
what?
we got to make, wait, we got a motion
Yeah,
before we
let's have a
discuss. So
motion,
now I
yes.
motion to approve, subject to clarification of the applicability of CSEA's policy 610. The
Okay,
remaining
but you're only moving on B12,
Right. Now we're
C15, and 11, I'm sorry, FA. So those three is what we're going to vote on now. Did you want to discuss those three? Could you push your mic?
There's only one included in B.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, moved and seconded, and what is?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's
Okay, all right, let's vote on that, and we'll come back to you with the rest of the item. All right, let's vote on, okay. All right, so the matter carries unanimously with one trustee absent, one student advisor, yes. Now, we need a motion on the balance, and then a second, and then we can discuss your issues, okay? So I hear a motion for the balance, please.
So move.
Trustee Milchick can move the balance.
Second.
Second by trustee Prendergast. And trustee Lang.
Sorry, Vice Chancellor Begay. You may want to call on somebody to speak to the items that are involved in the reorganization of positions that are incorporated in B and C. I'm not talking about the new positions at this point, but rather just those that represent changes in existing position, it appears.
I could answer some of them, but fortunately tonight I have the two vice presidents at Irvine Valley College here. So between Craig and Gwen, I'll bet we could probably answer all your questions. So with that, if we could, do you have a specific item like, for instance, B1 is related to C1?
Right. That's really what I'm trying to understand is, what's, how this area is being reorganized, whether it's just change in job title that we're talking about, or, what the impact of those changes are.
Well, are you going to address that, or did you want Gwen?
Let me just introduce it, and then I'll ask Gwen to
She could come to
fill
the
in
podium and the mic, too. Thank you.
Let me start off by saying the reorganization in admissions and records is being triggered by a retirement and a couple of other changes. A lot of thought went into this with no net increase in costs. And Gwen, if you would kindly fill in some of the blanks there.
I'll be very pleased to do so. Pam Kite retired a month ago after a long career at Irvine Valley College. And with that, there was the opportunity then to reorganize slightly. So her position as it stood is not being filled. Instead, one person who was part-time is now becoming full-time. Another employee has moved from a
Could you
range
speak a little more into the mic? It's kind of hard there.
has been elevated in his range so that he is now a senior. And I believe there was a third position that was increased so that a person would be up at the front desk at the A&R
area. So it took one retirement, which then permitted these other advances with no gain in, no cost, additional cost to
Right.
us.
Trustee Milchecker.
Yeah, sounds like you did a lot of work on this, and there's a lot of thought, so
Yes.
that's great. I thought that when someone changes from part-time to full-time, you have to advertise the position and open it up. You can't just move someone from part-time to full-time. Is that true?
I think in this case, it was all very.
Okay, Vice Chancellor Brigade can address that.
You can do that. You can make changes if you reorganize, provided there's not a financial, there's not an additional position added to the mix. When you add another position to the mix, then you have to go through and advertise. In this case, there was an internal reorganization, and because there is no net change in overall personnel, you can actually shift positions, including hours, within that, based upon business necessity in this case.
That's interesting. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess,
Trustee Milchecker finished? Okay, and
just
Trustee Lang.
just a quick follow-up. Was any of this, I guess, recommended by any sort of, outside personnel review that we did, or it was strictly an internal decision on the part of the college?
It was internal. I can respond to that.
Okay.
There was no external involvement other than the assistance of course, Human Resources working with it, and CSEA. A&R themselves, the Admissions and Records Department, did a full analysis of their workload, and this is what they came up with.
Okay. Yeah. It's just, a significant amount of changes within the, both in terms of the position, position descriptions, et cetera. And I thought it
Yes,
deserved a little bit more attention.
and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Milchecker?
I just want to go back to that one issue again. Can you make sure you look into the legality of moving a person from part-time to full-time without advertising the full-time position? Or have you already
It
discussed
sounds
this
like
with
the
an
Vice
attorney?
Chancellor answered that, Trustee Milchecker.
Yeah. We've done that before. You can do that with reorganization. There's four exceptions you can make in Ed Code based on that, and this is one of them. It's called reorganization.
Okay.
Trustee Jay?
I'm confused. I would like to see just what positions are being eliminated and what ones are being added. I don't think that's been clarified
And
here
this
in this
is-
discussion.
All right, and you're talking specifically about the admissions C, item C on page 7
Of
of
19, yes.
B and C, okay. So could you go through those and tell us? Respond to his question? Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, but the only position that has been removed was a retirement that occurred with Pam
What was that
Kite.
position?
Pam Kite, she held,
Part C,
which is?
No, she was.
which item?
Yes, that's what we're speaking to.
The very first one.
Item B. She was number 1B, B1.
B1,
Item 1B,
And Record Specialist 1 was eliminated. And then they added on C1, Admissions and Record Specialist 2.
okay, C1.
2,
could you push your mic if you're going to talk? Thank you.
All right, yeah, it's
B1.
really not that. If you look at B1, they eliminated Admissions Record Specialist 1,
B1 is eliminated.
right? And then C1, C2,
C1 down at the
and
bottom of the next
are
page.
added.
Yeah, it's right there in the content. Eliminate,
That's it.
eliminate, eliminate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they eliminated B2, B3 as part of that restructuring.
Right.
So they eliminated 3 and brought back 2.
They actually eliminated
The
4.
restructure.
They eliminated
And at
library
this time,
assistant.
there's no people assigned to these positions.
There now are in that restructure. That's why they're adding C1, C2. They just reworded their job descriptions and combined 3 positions into 2.
Oh, yeah, it says authorization to establish and announce a classified position, but it doesn't talk about the individual who's going to go into it.
Well,
That's
it
a
looks to
different-
me like you're not quite correct, Trustee Prendergast. All of B positions are being eliminated, as I can see.
Right, but
And then they're being
specific to
replaced
the
with
admissions
C.
and records. Just
Yes.
right, but he was asking about the admissions records
Right.
specifically.
It's not just B1, 2, and 3, though. It's B1 through B12.
I understand that, but
Okay.
in regards to what she's talking to on this one position that retired,
Right.
they take 3 and they combined it into 2. And then there's other things like that down the line. I don't know if we want to go through every single one of them to see where they match.
Well, I've
Right,
already
just a
done
moment.
that.
Trustee Milchiker is ahead
Yeah,
of you, Trustee Lang.
Just so people watching this can understand it, there's a lot of positions being changed. As a matter of fact, there's so many positions being changed that there's 4 pages of definitions. So
confusing.
so I can understand why people are spending more time on it, because it looks like there's going to be enormous changes just from looking at this. And it seems kind of unusual to make all these enormous changes all at once in one meeting without even studying it or going into it. And one other thing I want to bring up, I think it's absolutely appropriate for a trustee to ask about the legality of doing something. That's our job, to see, is this legal to do? Because
Yes, you're-
that's our job.
You're correct, Trustee Milchiker, and he's answered you, and he wants to address you again on that.
Trustee Lang, your original question really dealt with the reorganization of IVC missions and records. Would it help if we actually pulled B1, 2, and 3, and then C 1 and 2, and brought them back next month with an organizational chart to show the changes that we've made? Would that be beneficial?
I guess I would ask, would the college be under any hardship if we decided to pull it and delay this for a meeting?
There wouldn't be a hardship. I think some staff might be disappointed, but they would understand. I have to tell you that when I first looked at the agenda and read it myself, it was confusing, because something that seems on the surface very simple, for you have an employee who is 29 hours and now is going to be 40 hours. Very simple. But just to take that step requires 3 other steps that you are reading. Anybody would be confused. I even know what happened, and I'm confused. So, so I understand. And when you have that multiple times, so if it would be of service to you all, I want you to be at peace with it. Right. I think you would be very pleased by what has happened. Arlene Elsrow, the dean there, is exceedingly good at this.
Okay, so
I'd be happy to.
It may be that we want to pull the whole item, if that's not a problem, and bring it back.
We can do that.
We can do that.
No
All right, Trustee
problem.
Jay.
That's what I was going to say. I'd move to table.
Okay, the whole entire item until next
Yeah.
next meeting. Vice Chancellor Bouguet.
There is a lot more here than just admissions and records.
All right, let's just deal with admissions and records, which would be B and C. Is that correct?
No, B1, 2, 3, C1 and 2.
Okay, wait. Let's get it
Yes.
clear
That's why
what
we separated them.
Miss
Yes.
Trustee Milchiker, hold on just a second. Which
So-
ones do we need to pull from the rest of the agenda
Hold on real quick, just let Trustee Lang clarify. He was talking about all of B and C
No, here-
when he originally brought it
What
up.
I did when I got confused with this was I went down and I tried to match these things up as best as I could tell. C1 replaced B3.
Yes.
C2, let's see, I wasn't sure about 2 and 3. C4 was for B3. C5 was for B6. C6 was for B7. C7 was for B8. 8 looked like a new position. B10, or C9 was B10.
Yes.
Okay, well,
C10 was
what about
B11.
just pulling B and C? Is that going to be a problem? And bringing that back, tabling those two?
Well, we're talking about 29 positions, so that would be a problem. I can.
Okay.
Yes, if there's specific concerns, actually, Trustee Lang, you pretty much were doing a home run as you're going down your list.
Yeah, I think if you excluded the following items from C, you'd be fine, which would be C 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I guess we're dealing with separately, and 16 with the change. I think we'd be fine.
So that's C8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. What about B? the corresponding B.
Yeah, I think you'd have to pull the corresponding
Well,
B
can you
items,
please read them off for me?
which I have as, I guess it would have to be B 1, 2, 3. Looks like 5, B5, B6, B7, B8, B10, and B11.
All right, would you like to make your motion? Let's see, do we have a motion on the table? I believe we do.
Can I alter the tabling motion?
Yes, you may. Did you make it?
To encompass all the items that David has so carefully outlined.
Okay. And do I have a second to that?
I second that
Trustee Melchicker. All right. All right, that's a non-debatable motion. Let's vote on the motion. Okay. Okay. Motion carries with 1 no vote from Trustee Pendergast, the balance yes, and 1 student advisory vote and 1 absent vote. So now we are prepared to vote on the rest of this particular agenda item.
So I move approval on that.
All right, yes. Trustee Melchicker moved. Do I have a second? Second by Trustee Meldau. No comments. Let's vote on the rest of this item, please. Okay. Matter carries unanimously with 1 trustee absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.8, Faculty Association Academic Master Agreement. And we are going to have this presented by our Chancellor, our Vice Chancellor, Bouguet.
Do we move approval?
Yes,
or-
you may.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Moved by Trustee Melchicker. Second, please. Second by Trustee Prendergast.
If the board doesn't have any questions, we've talked about this numerous times over a period of months. And
Yes, we have.
We, on behalf of the district, we followed the board's direction in the negotiation, and we came to a mutual agreement with the faculty association. And both the faculty association and the district administration fully support this.
And I believe, could you repeat what the vote was for this by the faculty, please?
The faculty association had a 95% ratification vote in favor of it.
Okay. Any comments or questions? We've pretty much discussed this. Let's vote. Matter carries unanimously with 1 trustee no vote from Trustee Lang. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The matter carries with 5 yes votes, 1 no vote, 1 absent trustee vote, and a student advisory yes vote. So it passes. All right. Thank you very much. We're at 7.1. We have information items about guest speakers at both colleges. Any comments or questions on 7.1? 7.2 is the basic aid report, our standard report. Questions or comments? 7.3, the facilities master plan status report. Questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll go to 7.4, monthly financial status report. Trustee Lang.
Yes, just a quick question. I don't know if this can be answered tonight or not, but obviously we had a very tough third quarter in the market, reflected by the performance of most of the funds that the trust is invested in. And I'm just wondering if we might have some comments regarding what the implications of that may be on our future funding obligation to this trust fund.
Okay. Would you like the Vice Chancellor to answer that, or Chancellor?
I can start with the Chancellor.
All right, very good. Chancellor?
Okay. I don't attend the meetings of the trust fund. The Vice Chancellor does. But I think that the audit that will come to the board the next time will have some comments about that. And do you have any information from the last meeting from the trust fund? Right. We do have a retirement board of authority, which does meet several times a year. What we've been discussing is that we are in for the long haul. The issue with the decline in the portfolio is only an issue if we're going to be cashing in our funds, obviously. I wanted to point out that we still have a positive annualized return of 2.64% since the June 24, 2008 inception date, which is still good news. We will be commissioning, as you know, we do an actuarial study of our retirement benefit obligations. We're going to be coming up on that and commissioning that around January. So come May of this coming year, we'll be bringing that to the board for your information, and you can understand the impact to our liability obligation as well.
Trustee Lang?
No, I fully understand that we're obviously in it for the long haul. This would just have an impact on perhaps additional funding requirements that we may have for the short term, and was just interested, since I didn't go back to look at what the fund balance was at the end of the second quarter, whether you knew what that figure was.
I don't want to say it from memory because I don't want to give inaccurate information to the board, but I can definitely bring it to the November 16th board meeting. Okay. That's no issue at all whatsoever.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. We are now at 7.5, and that is the retiree trust fund. Comments or questions? No? Okay, and we are now at our written reports from our constituent groups. Saddleback College Academic Senate report.
Dan Walsh, Saddleback College Academic Senate. Thank you for supporting the hiring of new replacement faculty. We appreciate that, and as do the students. Todd Burnett will be mentioning some of the grants that the faculty at Saddleback College have recently received, and also the town hall meeting on November 8th. I know it's been mentioned before, but it pays to have friends in high places. I was talking with the state academic senate president, and she's putting the word out to all the local academic senates. So we should have good attendance by multiple colleges in the area as well.
Great. All right, our Faculty Association, Louis Long.
Thank you. The Faculty Association is thrilled at the completion of the contract negotiations, and we're looking forward to moving on. I'd like to thank the district negotiating team headed by their chief negotiator, Vice Chancellor David Bouguet, and his team members. It was a very constructive and congenial, usually process, and I think that the contract that came out of it was quite a good one, and we're pleased with it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Irvine Valley College Academic Senate.
We continue to do the work of curriculum and program review well underway in our fall semester. Last week we had our program review kickoff for those authors of programs who have cycled around into their 6-year comprehensive. They begin that work in the fall. Faculty hiring is underway, and we have a number of faculty who are stepping up to work on the search committees and get colleagues in and hired. The faculty show is November 3rd through January 20, 2012 at the IVC College Art Gallery, where a number of our own faculty will be showing. The opening reception is November 3rd, which happens to be the day of the site visit as well, so we'll be really busy on that day from 6 to 8, and I also have one of these cards to share with each of you to help you remember that. And then finally, track debt training begins tomorrow for us. Our SLO liaisons as well as our program review authors will be involved in that. So,
okay. And our Vice Chancellor of Economic Development is not here tonight, so we'll move to replacement of our Irvine Valley College president, and it's our Vice President Justice.
Thank you, Madam Padberg. Dr. Rockmore is on a site visit at Modesto Junior College, for those who are wondering why I'm sitting here, and we have nothing to add to our written report.
Great, thank you very much. And President of Saddleback College, Todd Burnett.
Hello, good evening. First, Saddleback College is very much looking forward to the board and the Chancellor doing its first campus-wide forum on November 2nd, which is next week. And the next day, we are all thrilled to have, hopefully for a long time not to have to happen again, a visit by the accreditation visiting team, who coincidentally happens to be up with Dr. Rockmore right now, up in Modesto. But that's on Thursday, November 3rd. As Dan Walsh had alluded to just a minute ago, we have some very exciting news to announce, and we're going to be sending a press release out tomorrow. Saddleback College has just been awarded a $1 million grant from the Department of Labor for technical skill training for students interested in the engineering fields and to get them placed and create jobs. I actually have the draft press release right here, and I'm going to read a sentence which I think you'll all be very pleased to hear. And it says, one part of it says, in an effort to bring jobs back to the United United States, the Department of Labor announced that grantees would receive funding to provide education, training, and job placement assistance in the occupations and industries for which employers are currently using H-1B visas to hire foreign workers. So we're very thrilled and excited that Saddleback College will play a role in educating and training future engineers to replace jobs that are being replaced or hired by foreign workers. So I think that's very exciting. I figured you'd be very pleased on that. Finally, it's already been mentioned, but of course we're going to have the statewide Student Success Task Force will be here in this room actually on November 8th from 4 to 6 p.m. I highly encourage everyone to be here. It's actually being billed as an Orange County Town Hall. As you know, they're only doing 4 of them in the state, so we're very honored to have one of them here at our college. And other than that, just have a nice and safe, happy Halloween.
Great. And our Vice Chancellor of Technology is not here tonight. We'll go to our Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, David Bouguet.
I want to thank the board for ratifying the agreement with the Faculty Association. It was a many-month-long process, but during that entire process, we had a professional dialogue, not always agreeing, as a matter of fact, sometimes not agreeing for a couple months at a time, but it went very well. I need to say something publicly. Louis Long is one of the finest people I've dealt with at a negotiating table.
Wow.
He would write contract language, bring it to the table, and be very self-right as to what it was and everything else. I never had to worry about him sneaking something in, which can happen sometimes, but he's a very audible person to deal with, and I really appreciated that part especially. I also attended a Beethoven concert here at Saddleback College, and I seldom go to Beethoven things because few people can do it well. I have to tell you that the professionalism on that platform was superb. The strings were all in time. The oboe players were spectacular. Every moment of it was really well done. I never saw a better performance of any symphony orchestra at a community college in my entire life. And I wouldn't say that if it weren't true because I have a musician background. So it was very well done. President Brennett, you're very proud of your orchestra. Nice job.
Sounds to be like a letter to the editor of the Register. Vice Chancellor of Business Services, Deborah Fitzsimmons.
Yes. I'll be attending the ACBO Fall Conference, actually leaving after this meeting. It's in Temecula. We'll be getting some information Wednesday afternoon from the State Chancellor's Office regarding the state of the state, I guess you can say. So I'll report back any further information I get there. And also preliminary results for our 50% law. Unaudited figures are putting us over 50%. Right now the number is 52.17. Again, that's not the final, but exit interview with the board is November 16th, so we should have the actual confirmed figure very soon.
Great. And our
Thank you.
President of the Academic Senate at IVC.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that we have a couple of great things coming up. We're assisting the Toys for Tots campaign this year. We have our collection boxes around the campus, so if you're over there, we'll be happy to accept your unwrapped gifts for kids. And on October 31st, we'll be doing our annual fundraiser for student scholarships. So send your donations in. Thank you.
Great. Our CSEA President, G. Dixon.
I'm sitting in for G. Dixon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just no
announce
report
your-
from CSEA.
Okay, no report. And next we have our Saddleback College. Okay.
As you can see, we're pretty active at Saddleback. And some of the activities that we included, and we're continuing from last year, is the giveaway, where all divisional offices will have a basket where we collect food donations and card donations for our veterans. We constantly, with student government actually, get gifts and family, adopt a family kind of thing as well. We're also collecting gift certificates for healthy food places for a classified leadership manager. Her child had a certain problem where they had to eat special types of food, so we're doing a fundraiser for that. We're just getting it framed right now. Congratulations to the faculty for their new contract. The other activity we were involved with was the Great Shakeout. Actually, this Friday, one of the state associations for the Chancellor's office were involved in a lot of state kind of things for the Chancellor's office. One of them is the California Placement Association. And we're actually going to be hosting an event this Friday at 8 o'clock to, I think, 2:30. And
the gentleman who used to be doing the job placement or job services, showing people how to do resumes and stuff. He's actually president-elect of that association for next year. So we'll be doing that this Friday. It says CPA, but it's not really for certified public accountants, so it gets confusing sometimes when we have the signs on campus. Of course, with the President of the United States announcing that the end of the war and all these returning vets, of course, they're all going to be coming back to community colleges. And with the wearing thin of our classified staff and really this reorganization where we kind of don't see it as that transparent at all, which could be in the preview of state law to go ahead and do a reorganization, but we all have to work together to serve these populations, and with more part-time, full-time staff, or less full-time staff. Of course, we're thinking about some more projects for the holidays. Of course, the Toys for Tots. We have to check some specifics with student government as well. We're looking at a heifer project, too, if you've ever heard of it. It's buying animals for third world countries. It's mostly online, but we're still participating on it. You could buy half a cow if you can't afford a real full cow. You can buy chicken eggs and stuff like that. And then I was going to go through a little bit of my job, which is I'm the career guidance officer. There's only one of me. I help oversee an office that's open 48 hours a week. So it's open 7 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night and on Fridays. Really, the career guidance officer originally was the librarian and in charge of the career information on jobs and stuff. That separated to the job placement in the 70s when we had a recession going, right? They hired a lot of people for job assistance. There's only one person right now, and that person was reorganized to go to the business science department next semester. So I also look over the professional assessments and ordering them. Of course, the licensing is under faculty. I oversee the daily operations of the Career Center. We create programs. I have some webinars coming up pretty soon for students and community members as well. Our Career Center is noted as one of the major models for the state of California. We usually get a visit from other community colleges once a month. We oversee over 40 computers in our area that really serves the applied psychology classes, although we do presentations to every division in our area and at the college. I also help maintain our website, and I'm happy to announce that we have actually a view of about 3 minutes on our website, when the average view of any college webpage is about 30 seconds. So people stay on my website.
Could you kind of wrap up your report? You're a little bit over time.
Oh, then that's fine. I can keep on going. But there's a lot more to my job, but I wanted to introduce you to a little bit about what Classified does.
That's great. Thank you. And our ASG president for IVC, Joseph Fassine.
Actually, for Saddleback College.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
Sorry.
Wait, I'm sorry. It says IVC. Oh, no, Saddleback College. My eyes need to be checked.
Sorry, I'm far away from you. Touching on our website, I actually am serving in the Region 8 board for the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. So that's something that Saddleback kind of hasn't been involved in the past year or two. So I'm getting re-involved in that. I attend meetings with all the schools in our region. So Fullerton College, Santiago Canyon, all of those schools in our area. And actually, I looked at their websites, and ours is definitely the best, I have to say.
Sure it is.
And then also for ASG, we do have a few events going on right now. We have Club Rush and a Halloween maze, which will be on Halloween this Monday. So we're going to have a maze up in SSC 212. And then also our Club Rush as usual, except it's going to have a Halloween decoration to it. And then we also have our Turkey Drive, as Dawn said. The Classified Senate is working towards providing veterans with meals, and then we're working towards providing students in our EOPS program. We're providing 20 families with Thanksgiving dinners. And then also, I just want to say that I'm really happy with all of our members this year. And I know in speaking to my advisors and returning students, we're all really happy with this year's group. And I think it's probably the best one that Saddleback has seen in a while. So we have great things coming.
Thank you for your report. Great. And we are at the end of our meeting, but I would like to, at this point, ask that we adjourn this meeting in memory of Taylor Sams, Saddleback College student who unfortunately recently lost his life. So without any objections, Trustee Lang.
Just very quickly, one acknowledgement that I forgot to make in my comments. I wanted to, who's sitting very quietly in the back there, Brandon Delana, I wanted to congratulate you on your appointment to the ACBO Facilities Task Force. That's quite an accomplishment. It'll give our community college district a voice in facilities planning. I think that's a wonderful accomplishment. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations. So without any objection, we will adjourn this meeting in the memory of Taylor Sams. We do have a committee meeting. Those who are on the committee, please remain. Okay. Thank you.